What you've just been watching is a typical job for an IMCA contractor in the offshore oil and gas industry. It's a big undertaking, potentially hazardous, but today it's the kind of task that is always done safely. In fact, the offshore industry has a safety record that we can all be proud of. A record that's been achieved because the engineering has been done competently with safety in mind. The hazards are identified and the means of controlling them come into every aspect of the job. There are permit to work systems, toolbox talks and procedures to be followed. And this record has come about because the workforce has accepted and contributed towards working in a mature culture where safety is ranked equal to commercial, technical and other considerations. All of this effort means that the big jobs are now done safely, but we still get regular reports of accidents and injuries, and by analysing trends, we see that a large proportion of them fall into two categories. There are the injuries that come from slips, trips and falls, and then there are the injuries to hands and fingers that come mostly from crushing and pinching. Looking at the big picture, there are full hazard identifications, risk assessments, detailed procedures, and so on. And everyone is aware of the dangers and the importance of looking out for each other. Almost all of the injuries that happen now aren't covered by specific rules or written working practices. They happen because of a moment's carelessness, a moment's lack of attention, or not taking the time to think. And they're also the kind of thing that can happen to anyone, whether you're offshore, on a ship, a lay barge, or on an offshore installation. And it doesn't matter what your job is, the possibilities are there for anyone to slip, to trip, or to fall. These kinds of injuries can happen in so many different ways. Just a moment's carelessness and a seemingly trivial event could have serious consequences. If you're unlucky, even a simple trip could result in an injury to put you off work for months. It could change your whole way of life. It's a fact that in this industry worldwide, slips and trips account for nearly 1/3 of reported major injuries. It's clear from analysis of accident data that good housekeeping is very important in preventing slips and trips. It's common sense, really. There are the obvious things to look out for, like hidden pad eyes and other trip hazards like trailing cables, and not taking shortcuts. Some things are dealt with very easily, by tidying up an area for example, but in some particular workplaces there may be other solutions. If for some reason a floor is always slippery, then effective matting or non-slip flooring should be considered, but most of the time it's easier than that. It's a matter of being aware of the risks, of keeping your eyes open, looking out for loose cables or hoses, for sea fastenings, and look out for each other. The important words here are awareness and communication. Be aware all the time of the potential hazards or dangers, and be prepared to communicate with your workmates about them. Working on a ship increases the problems because your workplace is moving around, sometimes quite violently. So be extra careful when going through heavy doors, or especially when going up and down stairwells. Always keep one hand for the handrail. All of this must seem like just common sense, and of course it is. But there are far too many people injured by simply tripping over something or slipping, and it's the most common cause of injury in our industry today. Let's look at some examples. So how can everyone help? First of all, of course, look out for yourself, but then be part of your company's safety observation programme, because that means there are lots of pairs of eyes looking out for unsafe conditions or unsafe behaviour. And if you see something unsafe, then do something about it. One of the reasons for the industry's better safety performance over the years has been the way in which data on incidents and unsafe situations has been recorded and analysed, so that hazardous situations and practices have been corrected. It's the same for slips, trips and falls. We need feedback from everyone when things go wrong. We need to know why people get hurt so that we can work towards getting rid of these totally preventable injuries. So take the time, first to do something about unsafe acts and conditions, and then to report them all. But there are things to help. There are IMCA cards, various videos including the IMCA Working at Height programme, and there will be company-specific safety inductions. Listen to them and read the cards carefully. Don't just shove a card in your pocket and forget it, make use of it all the time. And if there's anything that concerns you, bring it up at a toolbox talk or talk it through with your supervisor.
This industry has come a long way in managing to eliminate most of the serious injuries. We've done that by better engineering, by risk analysis and other safe systems of work, but most importantly by involving people, by making safety everyone's business. Now it's time to tackle the small incidents, the ones where you might say, "That was stupid really, I just wasn't thinking or watching where I was going." And although we might think of them as minor incidents, at the individual level they can be painful, even life-threatening, and can have long-term effects on your health and on your family life. Getting rid of the little things, the slips, the trips and the finger nips, is not going to be easy, but it is a goal that is worthwhile and it is achievable. So get involved, be prepared to communicate, but above all, be aware. Be aware of the hazards to yourself and to your workmates. Work safely and go home to your family fit and healthy.